You've been playing the sport for years and you're trying to influence the younger generation coming behind you. So, what has been the most influential moment for you in your career?
Oh, I mean, the London 2012 bronze medal was obviously a big moment in my career. And I think it was a huge moment for Canadian soccer for sure. It was kind of a watershed moment. There's before London and after London. People still bring up that semifinal game against the US. People remember those Olympics. It had such a powerful emotional driver, I think, for people. And really, Canada Soccer's never looked back. We went back to back bronze, obviously. It set up our participation in the National Women's Soccer League down in the US. I think the kids who watched that Olympics were inspired and are now on the team performing for Canada. And I think it was a huge step forward for us. So that was the most significant moment in my career for sure.
Definitely memorable moments. Now, you've played and worked with a lot of women of all different ages. So, can you tell us about the dynamic with, the women of different ages? You guys are playing together, training together, traveling together. Talk to us a little bit about the dynamic on the teams.
Yeah, it always is unique on a national team because you really are exposed to different age ranges, and you always come in as the kid thinking you're never going to be that old, and then you turn around one day and you're on the old team and training against the young ones. I try and be a leader on that team in the way that the older players were when I first made the team. We had some legends that were a part of that program when I first came into the team: the Charmaine Hoopers, the Andrea Neals, Randy Hermes, Christine Latham, Charlotte Nonan. Like, these women were incredible and incredibly tough because the landscape was not as welcoming to women athletes at that time. And we just try and lead in the same way they did. And then to your point, you get young kids coming on the national team. There can be kids 15, 16 years old. And as you age, you are maybe a little more disconnected from, what they're listening to, what they're watching to. But I think it helps keep us young and up to date with whatever the new TikTok trends are, which is probably the most important part.
Are you not dancing on TikTok yet, doing all the fun things?
Not yet. I love TikTok though. I think it's
Great.
fantastic, but I have not had the guts to start my own yet. No.
It's okay. Maybe soon, right? Maybe soon.
Maybe one of these days I'm going to crack. Yeah.
There you go. Now, you worked with TSN and a group of very powerful female broadcasters for the FIFA Women's World Cup. And on top of that, you did it with a broken leg. Tell us about the experience of, being on camera. You play the sport, now you're talking about it for a national broadcast. Tell us a little bit about it.
It went so much better than I expected. Obviously, I hadn't planned to do that summer. I was very much hoping to be in the World Cup, and that just didn't work out with my recovery. And TSN reached out almost immediately to ask if I wanted to be a part of it. And then the team we had with Claire, with Kaylin, excuse me, and with Kate, it was just unbelievable. We were our four genuinely very different personalities, who I think complement each other very well. And we had a ton of fun. And Kate, as a host, made it so easy on us. I would do that again in a second. I hope we get to do that in the next World Cup, and maybe we can do some men's World Cups too, because I had a ball.
Now, looking back at your career as well, and obviously you still play, there's been successes and failures. And can you tell us about one of your most embarrassing moments on the pitch? Because I know a lot of those things happen for players. They look back, they laugh. Tell us about one of yours.
Oh, that's a good question. I think I'm the type of person who manages to block out a lot of embarrassing memories. I think you'd maybe have to ask my teammates because I bet they'd be able to remember. No, okay, there was one we used to go to this tournament in Cyprus every year, and we went for like 7 years. And I think there was a Canada Soccer delegate there visiting, as there often was, and we went to say hello. And this gentleman was from Quebec, so you do the double kiss. And I, being a kid from Ontario, was not used to that, and I went the wrong way for the first kiss, and almost kissed this delegate right on the lips. And my teammates did not let me forget that for a long time.
I'm sure they
That was on the
definitely didn't.
That moment was not on the
That's
field.
all right.
But
Definitely engraved in there forever for that one. That's funny. Now, you were just mentioning that you had gone to Cyprus to play. Can you tell us about some of the coolest places that you've been during your time?
Oh, aside from the people you get to meet, the best perk of being on the national team is the travel and getting to see the world for sure. I was lucky enough to play professionally in Norway. After I finished university, I went to Norway, and that is a beautiful, beautiful country. And when you're playing professionally somewhere, you get a lot more time to explore and see the country than if you do when you're with the national team. And we got to explore Oslo. I was with a club, a 10-minute train ride outside of Oslo. We explored the west coast where all the fjords are. It's like a fairy tale out there with the fjords and mountains and ocean. It's unbelievable country. So that was probably my favorite place to get to visit.
Being a professional athlete, a lot of people always say, how do they manage everything between work, life, social life balance? So how did you find throughout your career and currently, with everything that you're doing, how do you manage it all?
I think the answer to that is there isn't balance. I think anyone who's high performing has to sacrifice something at some time. And that's certainly true for athletes as well. We sacrifice being at home with family, with loved ones, but that's what you do because you're doing something you love. And to be the best, you have to sacrifice. So you don't really get the balance, but you do it because you love it.